Hey guys, Tony here. Back once again to do another random record pull. Hope everybody's well out there. And thank you for watching, continuing to watch, follow along. So yeah, if you watched my video yesterday, I mentioned how if I continue to do these videos, and if I'm honest, one of these days I would get a pick that was something really common, something like, Sergeant Pepper. Like, what am I going to say about Sergeant Pepper, And I also mentioned Born to Run. Well, wouldn't you know it, the pick for today is Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska. And to be honest, I'm glad that this is the pick because I love this album. It's probably my favorite Springsteen album. It seems like it's the album that even if you're not a big Springsteen fan, you could like this album. It also seems like at least it appears that it seems like it's like the hip Springsteen album. Probably because it's so different for him, and also because of its association with the proto-punk electronic duo Suicide, the New York duo. Springsteen drew inspiration from them, which is a really sort of unlikely source for an artist like Springsteen. But maybe that association, I don't know. It's an excellent album. All those things aside, it's a great album. It's his sixth album. It was released in 1982. Again, a big departure for him. Springsteen was known as a perfectionist in the studio, using a lot of studio time. The band would go into the studio, the E Street Band, and Springsteen would go into the studio, and he would write the songs in the studio, and the band would learn them, and they'd record them, and it would take a long time. And I think for this album, he wanted to take a different approach. He decided to take a 4-track tape player, go in his bedroom, and lay down demos. So he had 4 tracks. 2 of the tracks were for vocals, guitar, and harmonica. The other 2 were for overdubs. He would add extra guitar track, like a rhythm guitar, or he'd play other little instruments now and then. But yeah, really sparse demos. And the intention was to take those to the band, have the band learn the songs, and then go in the studio and record them. And that's exactly what he did. He went in the studio. They recorded an album's worth of material, or while they were in the studio or after the sessions were over, Springsteen realized that the album was done, and that the demos are the definitive takes of for this album. And that's what came out. This is essentially demos recorded by Springsteen alone in his room on a 4-track tape player. I love that about it. I mean, it's so different, especially for an artist like Springsteen. I mean, it's unheard of at that time. So what you have here, and this is where probably the band Suicide comes in. A very sparse sound. It's Springsteen solo acoustic with a lot of echo, and it has this spooky, sparse sound, much like Suicide does. So the tracks now, some of my favorites, Nebraska, phenomenal song, one of the best on here. In the title track, it's about a guy. It's a narrative. A guy talking about a killing spree that he went on, essentially, and it's based on real life events of the Starkweather murders. If you don't know about those, look it up. It's a real interesting story. A 20-year-old guy who has some sort of mental illness, and his 14-year-old girlfriend go on a killing spree that lasts a couple days, and they're apprehended, and he gets the electric chair. Real interesting story, and a lot of modern, like Natural Born Killers, I think, is sort of loosely based on that story. But yeah, Nebraska, great song. Atlantic City, another favorite of mine. A guy really, down on his luck. One thing about this album I should mention is that if you know Springsteen's work, he writes about these characters and these characters that have this obstacle to overcome, and there's usually this some fate and hope that they will overcome these obstacles, where on this album almost all hope is gone. Real dark. There's a lot of murder on this album, I should say. You get the feeling that a lot of these characters have no hope, and they're not getting out of these obstacles, that sort of thing. But Atlantic City definitely has that overwhelming feeling of dread. Something's going on. This guy's got to turn his luck around, and he's hoping that it'll happen in Atlantic City, but you get the feeling that it really won't. Johnny 99, a guy who again, down on his luck. He's broke. He robs a convenience store, um, and accidentally shoots the clerk. Gets caught, sent to prison for 99 years. Prison for 98 in a year. We'll call it even Johnny 99. Great song. Highway Patrolman. A guy's a policeman, and his brother is a bad guy, really, and his brother shoots somebody, and the guy who's a cop looks the other way, that sort of thing. State Trooper, my favorite song on here, without a doubt. And I think that's the song that's inspired directly from Suicide, their track, Frankie Teardrop. That's another great song, but State Trooper, phenomenal song. A guy, you could tell he's some sort of bad dude, something's going on. He's on the highway at night, and there's a policeman behind him, and he's saying throughout the song, "Mr. State Trooper, please don't stop me." And you wonder what's going on there. What's in the car. That sort of thing. Open All Night, probably like the most upbeat track on here. Springsteen solo electric, sort of a Chuck Berry kind of thing going on. Really mostly upbeat. And Reason to Believe, the closing track, another fantastic song. Again, there's a bit of hope there. It's like these people are looking for some reason to believe, but you get the feeling that Springsteen himself really doesn't believe it. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So yeah, fantastic album. Bruce Springsteen, Nebraska, 1982, Columbia Records. Well-known album, fantastic album. If you don't know it, even if you don't like Springsteen, it's worth checking out. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave me comments, and I'll see you soon.